Well, hi guys, welcome back to TJM. We're back with the Series 2 XJ6, the red Signal 1 long wheelbase. And we're going to do some more work on it today. Today, the objective is I want to clean those fuel tanks out. Now, they are very, very rusty, and I'm going to use the electrolysis method to do it. First of all, we're going to clean them out. We're going to have a look at the fuel senders and pull the fuel pumps out. Get a geezer of those and see how bad they are. They'll be rotten, but I've got new ones of them to put in. And then I'm going to look at the ignition and see if we can get this thing to crank over on its own steam through the ignition switch, which it's not doing. So there's a kit to do, so we'll get stuck into it. Just taken this tail light off, so I think we might have a look inside this tank and see how rusty it is. On a late Series 2, the fuel senders are going to be at the back, same with Series 3, and I think some early Series 1 had them up through the other opening in the other end of the tank, which now has the, just in there, the internal fuel pump. So we'll just tap this ring out and have a look at it. It's not going to be nice, that's for sure. Can't tap it any further than that. In trouble getting this out, hang on. I just wasn't tapping far enough, and now I've lost the ring because he's dropped down into there somewhere, which is I didn't want to happen. Oh, we get it later, I think. Ah, there it is. Don't worry, the wire saved me. Get that other wire off. Oh, yeah, voila, done. Yes, here she comes. Okay. Coming out all right. Too rusty. Pretty dark rusty. Come on, little fella, out you come. Yeah, she can. There you go. Oh, she stinks too. And she's broken from there to there. She won't be repairable. They're $90 for a new one, which is not too bad. Shame. I think I've got a couple of second handies still. Anyway, let's see if we can pat it. Peek into that tank. Wow, I can only just get a bit of an image there. Does that look? Doesn't look too bad, does it? I think a lot of my electrolysis will get rid of that. We're upside down and around the other way. Shall we dare to take the other one off? I don't think it's going to look much better. Probably 10 times worse. Out, and as you would have expected, it's going to be pretty bad, but it still moves. Note the float positions, they're opposite. I never really realised that. It might clean up. I'm going to put it back in because the smell of that tank's going to stink out my garage, so I'm going to leave it until we get time to clean it and put it back in and clean that tank. Ugh. If you remember from my last video, the right hand tank was the one that was completely dry. It didn't have a skerrick of fuel or even a sniff of fuel in it, and you can see it was just dry rust. So we're going to hit it with the hose and just flush it out and see how much junk comes out of it. The left one will be worse, but we'll see how we go. This one may have a leak because it was so dry, but we won't be able to tell until we get it cleaned up a bit. Goes. something in there. Something's in there, I can feel it. I don't know what it is. Still hard to look in there to find out, but let's get a bit of rust out of it. Well, there was a lot of little bits of surface rust in it, but not a lot of big chunky bits, which makes me think that that tank may still be okay. Okay, let's give this left tank a bit of a squirt. This is going to be interesting, this one. Oh, I think I've still got the plug in it. Hang on. This should be a beauty, this one. Not coming out too badly. I thought there'd be a lot of crap coming out of there. This looks like a bit of fuel and water. Scaly rust come out of it, but I've seen a lot worse. Well, I was working on the XJ6 and someone pulled up, a mate pulled up and said, there's a whole lot of Jags around at Hardy's Bay on the foreshore. So I thought I'd just pop around and have a look. Must be a Wednesday meet. And yeah, look, it looks pretty good. There's There's a very, very good example of a Series 2 long wheelbase, similar to the one I'm working on. And the one behind's a very, very nice example of the Series 1 I have in the same colour. So, yeah, this is pretty. I don't know if the LED lights suit it, but they're always removable. And it does look good in yellow with it. And it's not even it's paint, it's not even a vinyl roof, it's black, but it looks lovely. Cotswood yellow. Look at the goo that's just come out of the plug of the fuel tank. I don't think water's going to wash much of it out. She's pretty yucky in there. Clean those fuel sump plugs up a little bit, and the rubbers are still in very, very good order. They're not perished. Normally they're rotten when you pull those out, so it's telling me they have been out at some stage, probably quite a while ago now, but they're still in good order. I was cleaning out that box of parts that came with this car, and look what was at the bottom of that plastic box. It's a carburetor kit for a HD8. That's pretty exciting. Yeah, it's unfortunately only one, but one's better than none. Well, I've been working on this thing for over an hour now, trying to get it to crank via the ignition, and I haven't been getting any luck. If you remember from last week's video, I was able to get it cranking via the battery, hooking it up to the solenoid, but I couldn't get it to crank for the ignition. And as usual, with 50-year-old cars, especially this one that was sitting 10 years not being used, it was pretty much just a whole lot of smaller things. A fuel inertia switch, it works, but the connections were so dirty, so I wasn't getting any power through that until we gave it a clean. And I'm sure this relay was mucking up as well, as it wasn't getting any spark to it. But it seems to be working okay now, because I've tested it onto the solenoid wire, and it lights up on the test light. Hopefully now I'm able to crank it via the ignition. No. So I know how to turning over a second ago, but Murphy's Law, now it's not. The solenoid's now throwing onto the starter motor, but it's not cranking it. So I'll take those spark plugs out to see if we can just see if it'll turn over without any spark plugs in it. I wonder how easy it's going to get these out. Spray them with some penetrating oil, and get the big guns onto it. Well, I've gone for the big guns on this one. We've got the 1/2 inch socket set out. Let's just see how hard they are. Not too bad. Get one out and have a quick look. Not too bad at all. Came out. Been in there for a while. I don't know if it's a penetrating oil or it's wet inside. I don't know if it's from fuel. It's really interesting. It looks blacker than the next door neighbour's Labrador. Wow. Try another one. It could have been just from that penetrating oil that I ran through it and ran down the thread as I'm unscrewing it. Put a fair bit on. Same. I'll get them all out. Well, they all look pretty consistent. They're a bit fouled up from when it was last time it was run, and the wetness is from just that penetrating oil running down them. So we'll probably see if we can crank it now and maybe give it a compression test. Okay, show the lightning. Okay, so she's cranking for the ignition now. We'll give it a compression test. Cylinder number 1. $125, not too bad. Number 2. $123, also not too bad. Number 3. That's pretty good. 127. 126. Number 4. It's a bit lower. That's only about 110. So we'll give number 5 a go. That's 100. Down a bit, but anyway. And last but not least, number 6. Number 6. That's pretty good. That's about 115. So they, except for number 4, they're all pretty consistent. So I'm sort of happy with that. We'll keep an eye on that number 4. Well, I've cleaned them up, so we'll just put these back in for the time being. They'll be all good. Maybe put some new ones in it later if we get it going. Now I'm going to see if we can get some spark. I've just got my little sparky tester there. I don't know if we can see because it's a pretty sunny day, but I pulled the bonnet down a little bit. And I don't know if I can see it from there either, but let's have a go. Well, the bonus, I thought I'd try that spark again in a little bit more darker environment. I don't know if you can see that, but we have spark. Hang on, let's get a bit closer. Let's get really close to it. Okay, let's try it one more time. Spark. Beautiful. Well, that air cleaner's certainly seen better days. Looks like it's been backfiring a bit through the front carby. We might have a look at those carbies, see what condition they're in, or carburetors. Been wanting to buy a set of these for ages. They come in so handy, especially with the flexible ratchet on the back of it. So we'll use these for the first time. Have a quick squeeze of these carbies. We'll just whiz off this bowl first and have a look and see what condition the float and that's in, whether it's got any
yucky old petrol in there without losing the washers with one hand. Good. Okay, gently as she does it. It's nice and dry in there. Well, that's a good sign. It's not going to be clogged up with crap. Okay. The needle and the float looks like it's working good. Well, that's a good sign. I'll take the other one off and have a look. Okay, well that one's empty too. I'm guessing they've just evaporated over the time. We'll take the dash pots off it. Well, it's not clogged up or anything. It's a lot better. It's not a lot of carbon build up there. That's from that backfiring, I'm guessing. But we'll clean all this up and spray a bit of carburetor cleaner in it, get this float out and have a look underneath there. So far so good. I may not have to pull these right down. It's good to see there's still oil on those dash pots as well. Look at that. So they're not leaking. I just poured some fresh fuel in that float to make it a bit easier to get out. Nothing wrong in there. Float up the right way. Yep. Have a look at the other carby. Okay, carbies are all back together and clean. I think they should be okay. I may still have to pull them right down and clean out the jets, but we'll give them a go the way they are. With a bit of luck, they should be okay. Just going to throw a bit of engine start. Bit of ether in the carbies. And now we've got spark. That should do it. And let's see if we can get this thing to kick. Alright. Far out, look at that. She sounds so quiet too. Oh. Okay, so all we've got to do is get the fuel system going now. How beautiful is that sound? Still running. I'm a happy man. Look at the soot it blew out of it in those few seconds it was going. We'll make sure we blow all that stuff out. Okay, I'm just going to put a bit of fuel in this right hand tank. Now if you remember from my last video, this tank was completely bone dry and it had a lot of small debris rust in it, but it wasn't too bad. I will still use an electrolysis method to clean it out later, but I want to see if it's got a leak first. So I'm put a bit of fuel in it and we'll just test to see if it leaks or not. If it doesn't leak, we'll pull out the fuel pump, and I've got a replacement for that. We'll put it in it. Hopefully I've got a replacement for it. I've only got a little bit of fuel, but it should be enough to see. And I don't want to put too much fuel in it because I've got to pull out that fuel pump, so I don't want it to come out of the hole of the fuel pump when I pull it out. Okay, that's about 2 litres. 1.5 litres maybe. So far so good. I think so far. That's soot. Back in the garage and see if we can pull out that fuel pump. I think I've got time to do it now. It's starting to get dark, so we'll do it in the garage. Well, I'm really pleased we got that motor going. When I sprayed some of that Start Your Bastard in it, I just thought it would just kick a little bit, but actually to make it idle like that and idle smoothly, just for those 30 seconds or so, it was pretty exciting for me to see that going. Now, once we get that fuel system finalised, unfortunately I've run out of time this week and we're heading back to the mainland today. So I'm not going to be able to get to that internal pump till next week. I'm
as I said, I was going to use electrolysis to clean the rust out of those tanks, and I'm going to definitely do that. But because the right one looks pretty clean anyway, I'm just going to whack some fuel in it. It's not leaking, which is great. I'll put a couple of extra new fuel filters in just to start it and get it running for a bit. And I'll do electrolysis on the left-hand one. At least then I'll be able to get it in and out of the garage. We might even take it for a test ride next week. So thanks, guys, for watching. I really, really appreciate it. If you want to leave a comment, please do so. I love hearing from you guys. If you like the video, give it the thumbs up, and we'll catch you next week. Cheers.
That the fuel tank was completely full of rust. There's a divider halfway down the fuel tank, and that had rusted completely away, filling the bottom of the tank with rust.